All right, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever you celebrate during these months of joy and happiness. Some of you might not be happy though, so that's okay. We're doing a story called the James Currie film, and it's during Christmas time, holiday season, etc. Literally says Christmas on the tags. The writer is called Alex McIntosh. McIntosh. Wow, Alex McIntosh. My bad. McIntosh. I don't know how to pronounce that. It's whatever it is. I will post it. It will be linked. I'm doing this story with Andrea. She will be my guest today. We just got done doing a other reading, and we didn't like the story. It might get posted, it might not. We'll see. All right, stay tuned. But we're doing this one. It should be fun, and I'm gonna have Andrea start it. So the way this is structured, since it's not a letter, not a note like the last one, it's gonna be easier to read for like when we can stop and start. Like that's a big paragraph. You
Yeah.
can read that whole big paragraph. Now to the next one. If there's dialogue though, that's me.
Okay.
That's
I
there
won't
with
take it.
no. That's all me. Anything else? That's you. All right.
All right. I won't
Okay.
take it.
Go ahead.
Okay. It was never a dull moment's drive. Scotland was, by definition, a beautiful country by inspiring scenery, majesty, and relentlessness weather. Evie's old hatchback had
You
taken.
fucked that whole word up. You fucked that whole word up. It's just relentless. You go. You added so much stuff to that. Start over. That was crazy. You
Sometimes that
added
happens.
so much to that.
What is it? Oh, yeah, it's relentless. What did I
You
say?
said relentlessness. You went crazy on that one.
I.
That's worse than me.
It was never a dull moment. It was never a dull moment's drive. Scotland was, by definition, a beautiful country of inspiring scenery, majesty, and relentless weather. Evie's old hatchback had taken a beating from the rain and protruding tree branches that flicked across the windshield on this dark and stormy night in late December 1996.
Oh,
A
okay.
single a single peppermint sweet flicked between her cheeks, and the imposing view of her desired destination made her belly knot up. Over the winding roads across the blackened slick of sodden fields, a great stately home rested just next to the shore of one of the world's most famous bodies of water, Loch Ness.
I take it
That
back.
was so descriptive.
I take it back. Scottish writers are worse than British writers. I take it completely back. I retract my statement. Scottish writers, they be writing different over there. Okay, that
Hey,
was that was very that was a lot different than the UK does it.
that was a lot different than our last story that we just did.
The last story
That
was
was,
like written by like a fucking 12-year-old.
yeah. That was nice. You could like picture yourself, right next to the Loch Ness
Yeah, yeah.
water.
I'm picturing myself right now in like very cold weather. I'm in a jacket. It's Christmas time. I'm
Yeah,
sipping some hot cocoa by the Loch Ness Lake.
I
Yeah,
love it.
I'm immersed. Okay. I just pulled everyone out of immersion too because we just stopped to talk about it. The sole of Evie's aching foot in her red leather boot pressed gently to break the car to a squeaking halt. Stopped in a large puddle created by the elements only that same day, the occasional bolt of lightning sent an illumination that lit the entire landscape. The dark, busy water of the loch, the breaking trees, and the ancient ruins of Urquhart Castle could be seen across the water opposite to this great hall. She wiped the fog from her thick-rimmed glasses. I cannot wait to do her. I cannot wait to do her voice lines, and leaned forward to observe the wrought iron gate that lay open. Seemed to invite her into the grounds while two menacing stone grotesque heads gazed upon her The creatures themselves resembled that of a elusive beast itself, the Loch Ness monster. I like the way this has started off so far. 100% better. We are like 100% better than what we started at. We're like, we were here, now we're here, okay? Let's hopefully stay
Perfect.
here, up here. But right now, we're hot. Go ahead.
Outside the confines of the warm car, the wind screamed down in a rapacious gale. No stranger to extreme Scottish weather, she took a swig of something lukewarm from her plastic travel mug before exiting the car, grabbing a small leather satchel from the boot and walking down the snaking gravel driveway towards the foreboding dark residence. Her grandfather used to tell her that there was no such thing as bad weather, only bad clothing. He'd taken that from an old book of Scottish proverbs and lived firmly by it until his death. Her boots crunched the wet gravel and beads of heavy rain. Wait. Her boots crunched the wet gravel and beads of heavy rain rolled off her hood. She noticed the old Victorian lamps that lit the driveway coming in just next to the glistening, wet, yet manicured lawns. Two rooms on the ground floor of the sprawling palace appeared to have lights on. One could be seen lit by the old-fashioned red and greens of bulbs that flickered from a Christmas tree. She thought it was a very similar sight to something you'd see in one of those hammer horror flicks of the 1970s. Ivy tendrils crept up the walls, pointing to the cracks in the roof. The sounds of wind wailing and hissing from the shoreline could penetrate ears a mile away down the narrow path.
I can picture everything.
I'm
This is,
there.
I am in the castle. I'm in the castle right now.
I like
I,
it.
I
I'm
can feel
there.
the rain right now. I'm in it right now. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna read these two. You read the one before the dialogue, and then I'll start with that one. She grasps the antique iron knocker on the large oak door and banged 3 times. Her grandfather used to say it was the devil's three. He had a superstition about evil coming in threes. That's very true. Smart man. A gold plaque encrusted on the brick wall above the post box proudly read, "The Ordained Society of Luck. Miss Monster Hunters." Ooh.
Oh, my turn. The stiffened hinges on the heavy constructed oak door groaned when it opened and presented a handsome, bearded man in a tartan sweater and salt and pepper hat. He put Evie in mind of Sean Connery, only with more liver spots. He greeted her with a welcoming warmth.
Let's get you inside out the weather, young lass. He
He put,
politely exclaimed. The wind whistled and gale inside the echoed hallway when the door slammed firmly behind her. You couldn't hold it in. You're in mid laugh. I saw it. I was like, let me just take this. She thanked her host and pulled back her hood to view her surroundings. Uh, okay, he's still the man. The drawing room is just down the hallway. You can make yourself comfortable in there. Are you a smoker? No, I don't smoke, she said with an awkward smile. Stubbs was gripped tightly to her lip. She moved her red raincoat and watched him place in the same Nessie-shaped hangers on an umbrella stand. For a man in the 70s, he moved swiftly and energized. You gotta stop laughing. You
sorry,
gotta stop laughing. You're
sorry.
distracted the fuck out of me. I had to block you for a second. I had to take my hand and block you because I was like, I
Okay,
could see you laughing.
let me get it together. All right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Pity. I have so I can't I can't go any further with a Scottish accent. That was like that one line was perfect. I
That
can't
was
do it
good.
anymore. Pity. I have some excellent cigars. I just had arrived this morning from a friend in Nicaragua. Early Christmas presents. I'll be with you in a minute. I must make a quick phone call.
The wood creaked underneath his strong frame when he hurried down the hallway in his slippers. Evie walked down the opposing large hallway towards the lit room at the end, the water from her sodden boots absorbed by each step on the patterned carpet runner. Each wall scone lighting the wood panel entrance was decorated in dark green and red tinsel. The Yuletide merriment seemed like a facade to the dark history of this place that she questioned in her mind. Along each beautifully wainscot wainscoted?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Along each beautifully wainscoted wall were detailed wood carvings of the mysterious creature making its way towards the drawing room entrance. The ruby-tinged hardwood floor creaked with every step on top of the carpet runner. The sheer grandeur of the place was imposing, and Evie tried not to feel vulnerable. Her prior research had suggested it was just the two of them to meet this evening, but with a place as vast as this, one could never be certain. Every room she passed along the way seemed to have shapes in them, shapes with eyes that watched her every move carefully.
A gorgeous Christmas tree stood 8 feet tall in the drawing room, wrapped in old-fashioned tinsel with a Nessie head placed on top in the place of the typical star or fairy. Next to the tree, a large open fireplace snapped and crackled with a dry wood. The smell of oak, leather, and fine cigar smoke topped off the seemingly relaxed atmosphere. It smirked off monetary tidings, cozy, would have understated the appearance. It looked just like a painting on a Christmas card. Yet, Evie was not as so snug. She was very much aware of her surroundings and had a bound duty to be on her guard in the presence of this man. His eyes were quickly drawn to the walls, each a gallery of pictures and photos with an air of mystery detected to the society's supposed findings. Black and white photographs, art, newspaper clippings, and even what appeared to be dried reptilian skin samples. Probably an alligator. A large burrow of chair sat in one corner of the room that featured a crystal whiskey decanter, and behind that a huge bay window with a wide view on the moonlit loch itself. It is Miss. I can't fucking do a deep voice. That's the whole. That's the worst part about my falsetto. It is Miss Gordon, I presume. The heavy voice inquired sadly and sent a chill through Evie when he entered the room behind her. It's Miss Grant, Evelyn Grant. We spoke on the phone early today. Oh no! Hold on, my cat just messed my thing up. He collapsed right on my mouse, and I went down so far. Hold on. Oh, here we go. The man appeared to be taken aback. Very good. I'm Dr. Alistair McKendrick, he said on a firm handshake and that enveloped hers. I head the society, the study of the ordained society of Loch Ness monsters. Lo- Long titles, I know. I thought, and I forget easily. More so in my old age. Come on, old man, get it together. Remember shit. His charming smile did little to comfort her. She laid down her satchel next to the. Oh, actually, here, go ahead and read this. Because I did
His,
have large dialogue.
okay. His charming smile did little to comfort her.
Muddy.
She laid down her satchel next to the large leather couch and kept her smaller purse on her within reach of her cold hands. She chewed up the remains of the bony mint in her mouth and swallowed before scanning the walls in the room and keeping a watchful distance from the man. Dr. McKendrick checked the antique clock on the wall and saw its clicking hands down. Dr. McKendrick checked the antique clock on the wall and saw its clicking hands soon to be at the 11 o'clock chime.
It's hard to keep captivated by this room, he said. It's my favorite in the entire headquarters, and as such, it's where I conduct most of my business. This room is the center of, or rather, the heart of the house. The mansion itself has denoted to the organization by one of our benefactors, Lady Catherine Shaw. I try to let its walls talk and tell the tales of exploits past.
Evie's left eye vibrated slightly when she saw the fingernails on her hands chewed down from the sheer nerves upon coming here. She feigned distraction, but that acute distressing telling was visible. That was until a curiosity did capture her interest on the wall. It was a large painting depicting the giant grayish brown monster facing down a priest, whose expression was fierce and determined. She removed her glasses to wipe away the steam from the room's fiery warmth.
What's this painting supposed to be, Doctor? Are like all Scottish people afraid of the Loch Ness monster? By the way, like I'm confused. Why is she so afraid?
Yeah, why are people afraid of Loch Ness
Why is she
monsters?
so? Why is she so scared right now? Is this like a thing over there? Like I don't get it. But all right, go ahead.
The doctor scratched his beard with social satisfaction, and Evie caught sight of the healed shaving cuts on his face. He loved telling stories, and being invited to enlighten people on a subject he knew everything about provided him with endorphins worthy of spending money on.
Hold on one second. This is the beginning of the monster's origins. Saint Columba is the man in the painting. He was an Irish holy man who came to Scotland in the year 563 AD. He'd been spreading the good word of the Lord to the pitchest tribes of that time, creating a sense of unity among them, of which those pagan savages sourly lacked. Oh, sorry. Let me start that over. He'd been spreading the word of the Lord to the Pictish tribes. Time created a sense of unity among them, of which those pagan savages sorely lacked. In the year 565 AD, at the banks of the river Ness, a few miles up the loch's northern end, one of the tribesmen was being buried by the river bank. St. Columba asked the men what had happened, to which they told him he'd been partially eaten by a large water beast. After being told this, Columba sent one of his own companions out to swim across the river. And lo and behold, a great beast rose from the depths. However, St. Columba was brave and determined. He made the sign on the cross and ordered the monster to go back down. Go back down, monster! Get back down in that water! Sorry, that's a little off script. Go back. Wherever it came, it vanished and never to be bothered. I'm just thinking about South Park right now. And it vanished and never to be bothered the saint or this tribe ever again. Have you ever seen that skit from South Park?
I don't think so.
I opened the door and a Girl Scout tried to sell me cookies. And he said, I'm gonna need about 350. God damn, that was monster! You never seen that before? Oh, I gotta send you a
No.
video. It's very funny. Okay. Evie turned from the painting and saw the doctor standing next to her. She moved away to gather her bearings and gave a questioning look. So it just left? Absolutely, yes. The word of God made it so. The tribes believed they had all witnessed a miracle that day, and Saint Columba's own legend grew among the church. And your society of Nessie's hunters believes this story? Dr. McKendrick chuckled dryly with an acid tongue. Absolutely not. The problem with the story is that the original truth of them. Let me restart. Absolutely not. The problem with this. Absolutely not. The problem with the stories is that the original truth of them eventually dies over time. The original account of St. Columba facing the monster was written over 100 years after the event even happened. And after that, for hundreds of years, there was seemingly nothing to write about when it came to the creature. I went really southern with the fucking guy.
You did.
I went
It's like
real southern Baptist like priest.
you're like down in like South Carolina and Georgia right
There's
now.
no going back. That is his voice now for the rest of the time. I tried the Scottish one, and then it just felt so. When he started talking about God, the way he wrote it, I had to go Southern Baptist. I had to. I went to the pits of South Carolina or Louisiana and Georgia, and I was like, let me get a voice. I got possessed. Yeah, I had to. Get back down, the monster! You get back down those steps! You stop it! Yeah, go ahead. I don't even know where we're at anymore. Okay. Brett, Evie felt felt the beats.
Evie felt the beads of sweat trickle down her head with the remnants of rain. The fireplace was hot, but her feelings of impending dread was getting tougher to mask.
So, when did the modern day sightings occur? She asked. There were reports made in the late 1800s of sightings. One of the large creatures propelled itself into the dark waters just off the shore. It was only until the 1930s that we had some extremely interesting witness accounts of the monster. Such as? The 1933 George Spicer and his wife reported a dragon-like creature crossing the road in front of their motor car carrying a dead animal in its mouth. Then in 1934, Mr. Arthur Grant described nearly hitting the creature while riding his motorbike down the same stretch of road. This stretch of road being the same one you would have taken coming here tonight. This stretch of road was originally paved in 1933, and therefore has led to many sightings before then. Nobody came handy to walking that close to the shore down this way. Mind you, like all stories, the written word can also be unreliable. Once you hear one report, it creates a ripple effect of people seeking fame and fortune. For, for others who just want some attention to take away from their sad and pathetic lives, society, we mean to seek hard proof. Like, I'm having too much fun with the voice. I'm having way too much. That was a very long monologue. I'm having way too much fun.
Yeah, but I just pictured you in like the town square of this Victorian old haunted mansion, just like giving a sermon.
I say, the monster. Okay, let's see. Copter kept his eyes locked on Avi's and every opportunity chipping away at the stone walls. Uh, then I have exactly what you're looking for. She stated firmly the reason for her visit was about to bear fruit. You got something to show me? And that satchel you packed with you? Yes. Well, what is it? Infutable evidence of the creature's existence. I went super London with the fucking the girl, by the
You're
way.
all over the place.
Like, I went super, like, I'm not even sure if I'm doing a good accent in the UK. I'm doing something, though.
You're doing something. You can tell who's who. That's
Yeah,
important.
that's important. Okay, go ahead.
Dr. McKendrick saw the look in her eyes and paused for a moment. Then he made his way over to the desk and poured up a dram of whiskey for himself in a delicate glass. All the while, Evie was sure she heard a thudding noise coming from somewhere upstairs.
Would you care for a glass of Islay's finest? He offered. I'd love one, she said, knowing it might settle her nerves a bit. God damn. Good, nice stiff whiskey, settle those nerves up. Either it'll make it worse or make it better. We'll see. Go ahead.
Evie listened to that delicate clink of the glass and accepted the warming neat double to temporarily subside her anxiety.
Excellent choice. That's the drink of a young lady who has a lot to say.
Out of the corner of her scrutiny, she saw a proud smile materialize on the doctor's strong face. A reaction to one of the photos on the wall, she knew he was eager to say something about it. Even more so than seeing what she had come here for. She held the whiskey glass to her nose for a second to sample the smoky scent of the undoubtedly expensive scotch before measuring the very odd black and white framed photograph of a blurred shape in the water.
Okay. This is one of the very first photographs taken of the creature. The original negative was lost, and this picture has deteriorated over time. Nothing to get excited about anyway. Why's that? It's actually a close up picture of an otter. Doctor spoke with expressive harshness. Why is that so important then? Evie asked. The doctor didn't respond. Immediately, he was. Go ahead, read this part.
Hold on. I just lost my head. You're on my phone instead of my headphones now.
Oh,
All right. Ready?
yep.
Hold
Yo,
on.
God.
Suck it starting. Okay. The doctor didn't respond immediately. He was unreadable, almost as though the layers of warmth and hospitality were peeled back to reveal a mold behind the paper wall. A dirty, disgusting ru- ruination. Instead of answering the
Yeah,
question, she watches his finger point to the next gold frame photography. Uh, can I start over?
go ahead.
The doctor didn't respond immediately. He was unreadable, almost as though the layers of warmth and hospitality were peeled back to reveal a mold behind the wallpaper, a dirty, disgusting ruination. Instead of answering the question, she watches his finger point to the next gold frame photograph on display.
The next one here, I'm sure you're aware of, is the first photograph to show the creature's full head and neck above the surface.
Evie placed her whiskey glass on the small table next to the couch and rubbed her eyeglasses once again. She recognized the image immediately of the infamous Sturgeon's photograph, a classic fake taken in 1934. Why the doctor would mention these fakes to her in such fashion made her skin crawl, almost a build up to something else. That's when she heard the thud come from upstairs again.
Doctor, what's that noise coming from upstairs?
Evie's tone was nervous. The look on his face was like a man possessed with pure animosity. It didn't fit the tone of his voice at all. It was like one of those Italian horror films where the dubbing didn't quite match the facial expressions.
Old houses sometimes make noises. I can assure you, you are very much alone here, young lass. Now look at this next photo.
Evie took another step back. The next photograph in this curious selection wasn't like the others. Not only was it in color, but it was also very clear. Appearing alongside a wooden decked chair of sorts on a stony beach by the water was a crystal clear shot of the monster. Only this one was different. A gigantic sloped head resembling that of a large horse, complete with a brown mane, bearing sharp canine teeth attached to a long muscular neck. You could almost see the liquid glistening from its skin. The body was like that of a walrus, blubbery with massive diamond-shaped flippers. It appeared to be facing right at the camera, its black eyes practically staring you down upon viewing it. Evie felt her entire being shiver as if the thing was stood directly in front of her, looking down on her some sort of plaything. The Loch Ness
This photo.
Monster looks like a horse?
I mean, I would assume, right? Because like from like the fakes.
I was thinking of dragons. Maybe have I?
Yeah, but dragons are like horses too.
Mm-mm.
Different scales. She's like, I know dragons.
I've
They're
seen a
not
dragon
horses.
before.
I see one in real life. I know what they look like. Oh,
Yeah,
my
get it
bad.
together.
My bad. This photograph is only on display here at the Society. You'll never see it in any express newspaper or hear about it on any radio. This photograph here is only one in existence that shows the real creature. Doctor was deliberate in his words. And despite the whiskey he'd been so heartily pouring, he was stone cold sober in his tone. And I think you already know that. Now, I want to see what made you drive all the way from London in the wee ungodly hours of the morning. What do you have to show me?
Did
I
you know she
am
was
a
from London?
genius! She's from London, and that's what I was going for. That is awesome.
You, how did you know that?
I don't know. I've never heard the story before. I swear to God, I did not know she was from London, but it makes it so much better than I guessed it. But people from London always be doing reports, always be
The
doing
Loch
stuff like
Ness?
that. No, like I just feel like a lot of stories or like even movies, maybe like short like shows or whatever.
Hmm.
Someone from the UK, and then particularly London, is like a reporter trying to find a story. Maybe that's me just being like stereotypical, but that's what I feel like, right? From all the stories I read. I don't know why I felt it. I felt that I was like, this girl's gotta be from London. Like
You felt her presence,
I
her
felt her presence.
energy
Like
from the
I was like, yeah,
story.
the energy from the story. I was like, yeah, she's from London for sure. That's awesome. All right, go ahead. Sorry, derailing it a little bit here.
She was careful to take stock of the doctor while she picked up and unbuckled her satchel. Fragrant in its snug confines was the musty smell of something from the past. Her hands firmly rifled through, and the doctor's facial expression became one of mute officiousness. There's a lot of words here. From the satchel to the oak table, Evie laid out a single VHS cassette taped in a tattered cardboard slip cover.
What's on this videotape has been canvassed from the original negative. Oh shit, my bad. That's the wrong person. That's the wrong person. Let me restart. What's on this videotape has been canvassed from the original negative, she said with a deep breath, watching the doctor pick up from the table. Undoubtedly proof. Undoubtedly proof of the creature. Doctor's eyes slowly locked on Evie's after a brief analysis of the item. How old's this footage? How old's this footage? He asked. Dr. McKendrick, this is the James Currie film.
Pause real quick because I somehow went to the next story.
Oh,
I'm so
okay.
sorry.
Here,
You're
I'll
gonna
read
have
this
to
part.
cut this out.
The old man was finally taken aback, almost spooked. In a reversal of moods, Evie noticed the reaction and felt her confidence grow in seconds. Despite the fear she harbored, the doctor's eccentric mannerisms were hard to predict. Evie was brought back to nightmares of her uncle when his dementia in later life caused violent outbursts. This teamed with the noises she heard coming from upstairs caused her to keep her hand firmly lodged next to her purse in defense. She either got a gun or a brick in that purse. Also, I've never seen eccentric spelled out before. That's the first time. Okay. James Currie film is a myth. Doctor, you're heading an organization dedicated to a lake monster. I hope you realize the irony in that statement. Doctor seemed like a man used to having his own way for so long that he would barely see the rug pulled from underneath his feet. Well said, little miss. It's just that Mr. James Currie was the byproduct of a local newspaper desperate for a story.
Evie smiled assuredly. The doctor was surprised by her confidence until he looked down and saw the pistol she held firmly pointed at him.
Super weird. Your audio is coming through my speakers instead of my headset. That's weird. Hold on, let me just switch this real quick. Say something?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, okay. That was
Okay.
super weird. I don't know what you did, but you switched your audio to my desktop.
My hands have been like this. No, wait, it was like this.
Okay. Put it in. Uh, Tell me the whole story. Enlighten me. You've barely been able to contain your nerves all night. Who are you?
When the cylinder ratchet clicked into place, it was as though the doctor finally took note of his own mortality.
Okay, have it your way. Oh, sorry. Okay, have it your way. This is what we know here at the Society. The Aberdeen Evening Express published a story about a bank manager named Mr. Currie. supposedly having captured the video of the creature in the news. He said he had over 3 minutes of the most incredible proof, certifiable evidence of the creature's existence. He then locked away the footage in the London bank vault, claiming that he wouldn't release it until, I quote, such matters were taken seriously. The problem we ran into with this whole tale was that there was no actual record of James Currie ever existed. The article said he'd been dead over 20 years, but there was no trace of James Currie at the bank in London, and the whole article was filled with irregularities. That's because that's because James. That's because his name wasn't really James Currie. I got the original footage from the bank vault in Great Portland Street, London. The vault was my grandfather's. His name was John Douglas.
The doctor's mouth seemed to drop along with his eyes, drawing recollection. Evie's expression had become one of deep-rooted anger.
In about 10 minutes, the other members of the society will be here, and my staff upstairs won't be too happy about getting awoken by gunshots.
Evie stood her ground.
Let's watch the tape, shall we, Doctor?
The
I
video
think I'm getting her
cas-
voice down pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Alright, go ahead.
The video cassette slid comfortably into the mouth of the whirling tape player. The doctor's thick, shaking fingers struggled momentarily to find the channel. Evie's heart raced like a fluttering hawk moth. Hawk moth. The glass screen on the hefty television loaded into play and bestowed a line of graininess to a suddenly clear and disturbing black and white silent first image. The doctor let out a sharp breath while Evie ordered him to not take his eyes off the screen. The image opened to display a beach at the end of the lock. A bit of flare showed the bright and sunny silhouette imposing a face of Urquhart Castle, visible in frame. It would have made a lovely postcard image if it wasn't for the movement on the rocks in front of the water. The unsettling contour of a bare-skinned woman laid down, bound and blindfolded, evidently screaming her lungs out.
3 minutes of evidence, Doctor. Um, yeah, go ahead. Take it
With the
away.
scream with the screaming woman laid just before the lock, a large disturbance appeared in the water, turning the liquid a rolling white color. Seconds after, an enormous horse-like head emerged from the lake and slowly moved toward the shoreline. The shallower the water, the more of the creature appeared on screen, and before long the frightening giant was fully revealed and realized in all its monstrous size. The monster appeared to analyze the woman for a moment under its grasping mouth, before ripping her away into the lake by her torso. Her arms still attached to the ropes nailed into the rocks.
Jesus.
The creature's torrent in the water subsided slowly on screen, and two men could be seen walking into frame. John Douglas and Dr. McKendrick.
Oh my god! Dun dun dun! What a twist! See, that's what I'm talking about. Sort of a twist.
That was
This is what
good.
I'm looking for right here. Okay, let me
Yeah.
speak. The tears that streamed her cheeks paled in comparison to the internal rage that festered. This dark country trip had changed from one of discovery to one of astute vengeance. I have to, I have to say, you've aged incredibly well, unnaturally so. Oh, television screen buzzed. The view of the state of the television screen buzzed. The view of tape static, and Dr. McCormick turned to face Evie with his hands up where she could see them. To get ahead of life, everybody has to make sacrifices, even those sacrifices are of other people. You've been doing this for years, feeding people to that thing, so you could carry on living? What kind of satanic magic is that? That newspaper article has been warning. That newspaper article was a warning to me, no doubt. John knew I would read it, He was probably trying to blackmail me with it to put a stop to it, using the name Currie. And the article was a nice chef's kiss. Currie was the name of my pet dog back in the day. John wasn't too happy when the creature ate it. He laughed. You fed your dog to the creature? Well, just as a matter of fact, that's disgusting. She was a beagle. She would have run away eventually. Besides, I learned from her that animal sacrifices offer no benefit in terms of a long life. To truly preserve the aging process, you must use maple. The fresher the better. Do you know how old I am, dear? You, I feel like I'm having a schizophrenic break right now. I'm just like talking to myself. You are 113 years old. Evie stated, knowingly causing the doctor's nerves to show once again. Her own research matching the firepower in her hand. How you know? How do you know that? It was in my grandfather's diary. All right, go ahead.
The doctor's face was awash with sweat, and he could feel the back of his shirt sticking to his shoulder blades irritatingly. His head murmured as if old age had somewhat agreed to catch up with him, something he hadn't felt in years. He thought there was no way this could be happening, not naturally. It was all made clear when Evie lowered the gun and eased off the trigger.
I knew she had a gun. You
He
told my
did.
grandfather that the monster was there to heal my grandmother. She had cancer. She believed the ritual was a healing one, just the just like the miracles your Saint Columba performed. My grandfather drank himself to death in front of my family. He never got over the sacrifice you made, but he told me about the footage just before he died. The rest was in the diary. If you heard a distinct whine that seemed to swell inside the doctor from his stomach region. Red-faced and keeled over, his voice whipped in pain. What is happening to me? He cried.
The doctor's vision swirled until a short spew of translucent bile erupted from the corners of his mouth onto the tartan rug underneath his knees. His complete loss of control caused him to drop and thud against the hardwood floor awkwardly, all 250 pounds worth of him. Evie breathed a sigh of relief and pocketed the gun in her purse.
I spiked your single malt a while back, Doctor. I certainly timed it well. It was nice seeing you sweat like that.
The air on the upstairs landing was different from the rest of the house downstairs. It was like every sap of coziness had decayed and just left a barren, dark hallway with a stickly golden colored carpet that looked stained from time. The wooden shelves on the walls were empty, save for the dust and dead flies packed between the glass and in each picture frame representing the deep lake. Every door down this hallway was shut, and Evie's sense of location couldn't pinpoint where the noises were coming from. She took out her gun and approached the first door on the left.
The door brushed open slowly and scuffed across the heavy carpet. Within seconds, Evie's nostrils were assaulted with a wretched scent of something sour. She moved her free hand to cover the lower part of her face, but her stomach rolled uncomfortably. In the pitch black, she wrestled her arm against the wall to find the light switch. Once the once the large can once the large chandeliers on the ceiling filled the room with light, Evie could barely stand up. Every sense in her every sense in her was paralyzed from shock. The smell, the malodorous air of fabrics rinsed in ulcers and bodily evacuations. That was a very hard sentence to read. The spectacle of the guard seized former dining room was replaced with a ward of sickening. The, the, oh my god! Read this paragraph. I'm, my throat is fucked and I'm struggling. Go ahead, read this
This
paragraph.
the spectacle of this grand-sized former dining room was replaced with the ward of sickening debilitation. 15 queen beds lined up. The women in them drugged into a semi-permanent state of sleep, save for some occasional twitch. save for some occasional twitching. They were all heavily bloated without a stitch of clothing, and riddled with bed sores. Evie could tell they probably hadn't moved in some time. If they did, it's not like they could go anywhere. Their legs appeared amputated at the knees.
Oh
Oh, that
my
was
god!
a twist I was not
That was.
expecting.
This is escalating.
Yeah. The oh those people, those poor people, she thought. It took Evie another moment to regain her strength and sight from the tears in her eyes and sorrow she expressed. When it finally registered to her that each of these young suffering women was also heavily pregnant, the doctor's statement regarding the fresher the better dawned on her. It wasn't a ward, this was a farm.
Oh my god! How is it possible that. Oh my god. This is literally just a Baraska with a different twist. Holy shit. Okay.
I was not expecting that at all.
That is crazy. That is fucking crazy. Okay. Hold on. Let's get through this. It's almost done. We can talk about it. The doctor's bodily pain intensified when he started to wake, icy cold and raw, scared by the jagged teeth of the rocks against his bare skin. A storm of freezing air, a storm of freezing rain showered down and frosted over his thick eyebrows. His thick sweater, hefty with absorbed water, he was able to move his head and neck enough to gouge being outside. On the bench, and barely able to register, struggling to escape the tight lashes of dock line rope around his wrists. Storm was bountiful and loud, and his shock and awe grew with each clap of thunder. His soaking wet ears could barely hear the slumping on the rocks next to him. The slumping and slapping of something massive. It was a small distance away, but after arching his back sharply onto the stones to look back at the house, he could make out the silhouette of Evie watching on from the drawing room. Of the crack of lightning in the sky lightened up the entire area. The doctor felt his back. Oh, sorry. The doctor felt his black heart sink to his stomach when he met with the curious gaze of the creature's bulbous eyes that resembled large, swirling black marbles. My word! You are magnificent! You are indeed the most beautiful thing I've ever laid my eyes on.
The
Wait,
sound of break
that, oh, that's funny. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
The sound of breaking bones snapping like brush and sharp tears of flash became lost in the elements and gargled screams. To Evie, it was as silent as a James Currie tape, only his sequel had a more satisfying ending. She looked over at another frame on the wall, one which showed McKendrick's doctorate, proudly displaying his credentials as an orthopedic surgeon. At that moment, she felt a wave of something come over her body, 10 times more powerful than any feeling of excitement she'd ever felt in her life. It was as though every stressor, every ounce of fear, every feeling of negativity had been flushed from her soul in a glow of euphoria. She took another peek outside the window to that wondrous storm and said to herself, "Thank you, doctor. I feel younger already."
I wonder if she gets all the the years that he. So he's been alive for a long time, right? So he has almost immortality. I wonder if she got all that. Like she transferred it to her.
Yeah.
My word! You are magnificent! You are indeed the most beautiful thing I've ever laid my eyes on. And then just dies.
And then just
Um,
dies.
that was a very fun story.
That
See
was a fun
that
story.
that deserves a 9. That deserves a 9. Um, this person was like, "Let me narrate, please." Um, the guy was Scottish, but I had to go. I had to go Southern on it. And just, at some point, she became kind of a Southern belle a little bit towards the end. I was losing just a little bit because to be able to do an accurate British accent, and this is going to make a lot of British people upset. It is a Southern accent. He's going to slow it down a bit and then pronounce words a little bit differently. Like instead of saying like hard, like I'm from New England, so I say like a stuff like hard. I'm gonna say it more like soft, like more like an ah than an a sound.
Hmm.
Um, my voice, my throat was hurting towards the end.
It
Towards
was
the end, I was getting, I was like, oh, this is getting hard. But that's fun. I like that story. That was good. That
that
was
was
a
a
good
good
story.
story.
I like that one a lot.
Yeah,
What was
that
your favorite
was
part?
of the writing or the story itself.
Both.
Of the writing, I felt like I was there. I want to read more of what's his name?
Uh,
Who's this person who wrote it?
it's let me go to the top real quick.
Yeah, same.
Jay, what's it called? Alex McIntosh. McIntosh.
I want to read
Alex
more of
McIntosh.
Alex and McIntosh's
I
story.
wish
That
you
was
could. Yeah, I wish you could click on their name and go to their more of their stories, but I don't think you
damn it.
can.
I don't think you can either.
I bet you they have. I bet you he has a website though. Let's see. I'll look it up right quick.
But his writing was great. I loved it. It was a good story. Way different than the first one we read.
Oh my
Um,
god. Yeah,
the
definitely different.
story itself, I like the first twist that was like that was my grandfather and you, Doctor whatever his name is, from like years ago.
Yeah, yeah. 100%. Um, I thought that was crazy. I was like, oh shit, she knows this guy. When she was like, I reached for my purse, I was like, oh,
You called it.
she got a gun. Um, I found another story, the Sky Giant. 7 minutes is a short read. I wonder if there's a way to. I wonder if there's a way to look up artists. I wonder if there is. Let me see. Oh yeah, there is. My author. Here we go. Oh, I can't search it though. Alex. Um, I guess I would just have to. Alex.
I want to see
Hold
a
on.
picture of all of these places, but the one scene I want to see a picture of is the Christmas tree with the
Oh
lot
yeah.
with Nessie on the
Oh,
top.
oh yeah. 100%. Really? Why? This is not in alphabetical order. Oh, it is. Hold on. I'm trying to find it real quick. Let's see.
What was the grandfather's name?
I don't think she said it. Here it is. So this Arthur has a bunch of stories. 5 pages full.
Damn.
Nope. That's weird. So I only see two other stories that I don't think it's all of them because the Loch Ness Monster one's not here. That's super weird. I'll look into it. But no, like the twists were good. The twists were good in this story. I liked them. They actually had me like invested.
Yeah.
I think it had good dialogue. I think the dialogue was like very like good. I think the dialogue like was ran smoothly. Sometimes dialogue's kind of choppy. Um, I really liked how he like was this crazy old man just like in this castle by himself. Oh, so
Not by himself.
when I mentioned Veraska, I don't know if you read it before, but it is like the ending to this one was very similar to the ending in Veraska.
Is that a story or a movie
It's a
or a
story.
book? Okay.
A story.
On Creepypasta?
Um, yeah, but like there is, I think they made it into a book, and it's better the way they publish it into a book. And then if you read the book, it's actually a lot better. But yeah, this story was good. Took us what, an hour? Yeah, that's about right. Um, I liked it. This one was good. This was a good palate cleanser from the last one for sure.
That was
I
good.
like this one a lot. The it flowed well. There's a lot of big words that we tripped on a little bit, but that's okay. Deal with it, audience. You do this. You get
Yeah.
on camera and you read. All right? But I like when there's dialogue because I like to like practice my voice acting, and when there's dialogue, I can kind of get into it. I did that. I started sounding like a little bit Colonel Sanders for a little bit.
I
I was
mean,
embodying Colonel Sanders a bit.
I don't know. I'm from South Carolina, and you sounded like this old, like an old man from South Carolina when you were
Yeah,
talking. So
yeah,
that was pretty
that's what I was
spot
going for.
on.
That's what I was going for. Um, it was fun. This was a fun read. I recommend it if you guys want to go read more of this person's stuff. Alex McIntosh. I'm gonna post the story for you guys, and then you guys can try to find where this person is. Um, yeah, I like this author. I'm gonna write this down in my author that I like. It's really hard to find good creepypastas. It is so hard. There's a lot of bad ones, and there's a lot of good ones, but there is a lot of bad ones. So you gotta like sit through them. Thanks for hanging in. A lot of my times I'll read a bad story. I'm like, I'll tell my friends like, "Hey, do you want to read another one?" Like, no, I want to stop. I'm like, well, you're lame, so whatever. Um, but yeah, that was fun. That was a good story. Out of like a scary scale though, I would say like it's not that scary. It's probably like a 7, maybe not a 7,
Yeah.
like maybe like a 5, mid ground. Um, written wise, fucking, it's definitely a 9. Like it was good. Like the descriptions of the castle, the rain, just the whole ambiance of the thing. It was good. I like that a lot. I like it when the stories kind of like immerse you into like the environment. So yeah, very good read.
Yeah.
Um, you got anything else?
No, that was
That was
great.
good.
That
Um,
was fun.
that was a fun story. Well, until next time, guys, we will do another story. I'm sure Andrea will be on here again. That was fun. Um, don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel so you can hear more stories. And it will eventually be on Spotify. Spotify is a pain in the ass to post to, but I will get it on there. Don't worry. If you want to watch it on your drive home, or just get YouTube Premium and watch it whenever you want. You can close your app and still be watching it. I'm not sponsored by YouTube. All right, I just have Premium and I love it. All right, just get it. It's better. All right, get YouTube Music. It's better. But anyway, like, subscribe, follow. Not follow. There's no follow buttons. But I will see you guys next time. Thank you. Peace.